And we are live. Let's flip and go. Jesus, it's already Saturday. Like, I don't know if I should like how fast we're going. It's already flipping Saturday. Anyways, guys, how are y'all doing? I know we started like 8 minutes earlier than usual. Usually I'm late or something like that. But we're here. We're here doing a quick little sound check here. Nice. Looks like we are. Good. Wonderful. How are y'all doing? How is everybody's weekend here? Today we're gonna be doing live spaces again. It's gonna be 2 hours long, starting from now. But spaces is gonna start in about less than 30 minutes. I just want to talk to you guys for some time. You know what I'm saying? How are you guys doing, man? I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Um, all is well. Dollar cost. I keep stacking Tesla stock and hold long term. 5,000 by 2032 conservative estimate, go all in. I mean, look, if you believe the long term vision, that's what it is. Bro, why are you worried about Monday when your horizon is until 2030? Like, come on, dude. Like, why? Why are you worried about Monday when your investment is 2030 long? Like Horizon 2030. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't do this to yourself, man. I'm actually excited for Monday because if it goes down, you already know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, you already know what I'm gonna do. I bought 44 shares only at 430. I think, whoa, don't let FOMO guide you. But even 430 is a bargain price if you're holding until 2030 and plus. Heck, I'll even say it's a bargain if you're holding until 2026 when the stock is over 1,000, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice. But come on, man. Don't be worried about Monday. It's nothing. If 414 sport breaks, so what if it breaks? It goes to what, 350, which is my price target end of this year. I haven't changed that. Right? And anything below 400, man, hand hand over fist. Give me all the shit. Bring on the dips. I want to buy as much as I can, dude. This is a long-term investment for me, at least at 2030, right? And I know the price in 2030 is going to be orders of magnitude much more than what it is now. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be 10,000 per share, but I am coming up with a 2030 stock price prediction retirement video, and I'm over 3,000. I do see this. I do see this. True, hold and relax. Exactly, man. Enjoy the ride, man. Sheesh, haha. Thanks for the content, by the way, dude. I love this. I love making content. I love making videos. I love it all, and you know, uh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Like it doesn't feel work to me when I do this. It actually, when I do these videos, I feel like, you know, my stress goes away. It's kind of like working out, kind of. When you work out, your stress goes away. Same thing with making content. I love it, and that's why I never get tired of it. I flipping love it. If you want to support me, there's links in the description. But you can become a channel member for like $2 a month, and you guys get early access. And I'm thinking of making exclusive videos just for you guys as well. So, yeah, that's one way you guys can support me, or you guys can get a T-shirt that as well. So, yeah, time to add more below 400, man. Hand over fist. Hand over fist. You have a good channel. Thank you. My goal is to make this the best channel. That's my goal. It's not a meltdown. I'll be happy to buy again at lower 200s. I don't think it's going to go to lower 200s. I don't think we'll ever see 200s again. But I'll explain why the stock crashed the way it did, because there are some silly reasons for it. Very silly reasons. Not just Tesla, just the whole market. I'm getting closer. 950, bro. You're 50 shares away from 1,000. You got this. You know what to do in the next turn down. That's all I'm saying. What's your full-time job? Well, we have a family business. So what I do, we have an online business here, and I'm only in Kuwait, by the way, not in Canada, because I am Canadian. I take care of the online. We have with an application, everything. We take orders. I take care of the social media there as well. That's my night. That's pretty much my day job, and then my night thing is this. So that's what I do for work. But hopefully one day this could be my main thing, and I could be in the States or something, and have a life, because I don't have a life here in Kuwait. It's just work. Making friends here is impossible. But I have a lot of friends in Canada and stuff. But even in Canada, though, it's so woke there, it's just ridiculous, and it's so expensive. I don't know how I can see myself living there without not having like 10 million in the bank or 10 million at a S&P 500 that gives 7%, or at least if Tesla stock goes to that high, I can withdraw 100K a month, sorry, a year. That's month would be ridiculous. Then I can live, nicely. But I don't know. I'm thinking Texas. I'm thinking Texas. I whole reporter believes 2030 stock will be over 10K. Wow, bro, that's gonna be insane, dude. If we hit 10,000, I just wonder what the price of a Big Mac's gonna be. You know what I mean? It's gonna be crazy. Canada is pretty cold. Yeah, I know it is. It's cold right now. Been watching you since it was 100. I got it and I'm happy. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man. Those who listened to me when the stock was at 100, y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve this 3x gain, 4x gain, right? Like the videos that I've been, preaching. I've been sitting on this table, banging it. And if you guys are following on X, I have receipts of me buying loads and loads of stock at times where everybody was running away. But if you are fearful and panicking, well, then I don't know what to do with y'all. I hope there's always a downturn, but I'm not too sure the next downturn is going to be as bad as this, because now we have EPS growing. You have all these catalysts coming in. Again, if we go below 400, I'm buying hand over fist. That's all I'm going to say. The $100 per day, no matter stock price, Robinhood 12. So options, you're doing options, eh? Nice. I lived in Texas for a year. It's a weird place. Different cities have different feel. I'm thinking Austin though. I'm not. I mean, I know Houston is not really the greatest. I know Dallas is a little bit expensive. Austin is where all the action is, and I want to be part of that action. So I'm thinking there, or maybe at the outskirts of Austin, so real estate is a little bit cheaper. That's what I'm thinking. Could go to 380, worst case, bro. If it goes anywhere below 400, I'm buying hand over fist. I don't care what anybody says. I'm buying hand over fist. Who cares if it drops? Let it drop. Oh my God, that's funny. I'm retiring 2030 because of Tesla boy. Man, you may have to retire earlier. But let's talk about something here. Let's talk about why the whole market went down. And we'll talk about it in spaces as well. Don't know why I have my headphones on. I think it's a little bit cold here. So there was some reasons why it went down. Reason number one, Santa Claus left. Santa Claus rally had its effect. Now he left. Now people are profit taking and all that kind of stuff, which is weird because if they do some profit taking, then they have to pay taxes. But that's some. Second reason. Like 10 p.m. here. Wow. Second reason. Sorry about that. Second reason is tax harvesting. So those who lost money and they want to report it as a loss on their, profit and loss. Well, but Pejjy, man, Tesla stock hit an all-time high in the 400s. What loss? Well, maybe they bought at 480, right? Or maybe they did cover calls, right? There's also call option as well. They probably did very bad on. Yeah, like cover calls or puts or something like that, right? That's second reason. Third reason is doing some research here and there. They're talking about like interest rates. Oh no, they're talking about CPI next month, and they're worried that it's going to be higher than expected. And so if that's the case, then we're going to get less interest rate cuts, which I guess is a valid reason. But I mean, there's really no reason for it when taxes are going to be dropped from 20% or 25% to 15%. Right, and we have like all these deregulations coming, and pro-business Trump coming and stuff. It's just ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Any drop that I see with Tesla, major drop, I'm just gonna buy more shares. Simple as that. And that's pretty much the only reasons why I saw the whole market. Mainly is for tax harvesting. The whole market going down like that means that big funds are selling, and they're doing it for other reasons. Maybe they're profit taking, but then again, taxes are next. They gotta pay the taxes in 3 months' time. Or just tax harvesting. That's the only thing. That is the only thing. That's why it's down. So I'm not concerned. I'm happy. And I wrote it on my X that, man, dude, people need to relax. Like I've been getting DMs and messages that, oh my God, it's going down. Tesla stock is going down. What am I going to do? Oh, Pejjy, relax. If you bought the top and you're chasing the stock, you're gonna panic. But if you're buying for the next 5 to 10 years, you don't care. You just don't care. You 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 would beg it to go down to like, as low as possible now, so you can pick up as many shares as you like, right? So yeah. So from the UK, 400, below 400, buy. Facts. That's what I'm doing. A lot of people are saying 10,000 by 2030. Look, 10,000 by 2030. You know what? You know what the market cap that is? That's 30 trillion. I mean, if they know that Tesla's going to be worth 30 trillion, let's say by 2033, because of the bot, then I can see it. And this all weighs on the bot. I think Tesla stock can be worth over $3,000 per share, which is a 10 trillion market cap, just with robotaxis alone. And if the bot is coming, and that's by 2030, and if the bots come in, well, then 30 trillion is just the start, in my opinion. Khalifa, we want more shares. Heck yeah, we do. Jason, I am not in for 30 days. I am in for years. Facts. If it drops, does nothing to long term. Exactly. If it drops, just keep stacking. Keep stacking. So, Pejjy, what's your prediction for next week? Oh man, I have no idea, man. What do you think? Thanks a lot. Next week, I mean, I hope we hit 500, but I doubt it now. But ask me for the next 5 years. Don't ask me for next week, man. You're in it for a long term. Look, if you're tuning into my channel with any investment, right? Tesla, right? Maybe there's another stock later coming or whatever. Any investment that I do, unless that I formally mentioned that it's a swing trade like I did with SoFi and Palantir earlier this year, which that was a big mistake. I should have held. Would have made like 10x my money, but it's okay. All my investments are long term. All my investments are long term. I did buy HIMS though, which is like 0.3% of my portfolio, like 2,000 or 72 shares of it. And I think that thing at 100x. Mind you, if at 100x, the company's going to be worth maybe only 400 billion. So in early days, not financial advice. Maybe I should make a separate video on this. But yeah, Tesla all the way for me right now. If it continues to drop, you'll be sorry. Why would I be sorry? I'll be happy. Okay, why would I exactly? Why would we be sorry? Yeah, $400, 100%. I can't afford to buy more shares right now. If it drops, give me a chance to buy. Man, right now you better start saving up if you want to buy some shares, man. Correction is always around the corner. Pejjy, you have to do a regular frenzy chat with Joe. We've been talking about that, and we are gonna make it a regular thing. So get ready. It's gonna be fun. Let's see. If it drops under 400, how low do you think? I see. Yeah, I mean 350 is my price target at the end of this year, right? And which is crazy if it becomes true by like, let's say 31st of Jan. But yeah, I mean 350, 360, 380, whatever. Look, anything below 400, it's a deal. You guys realize that once Model Q is shown, the stock will go, yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree. Not just that. Wait for Energy, wait for FSD, wait for the Model Y Juniper or the refresh. It's not even called Juniper. There's a lot that can really bring the stock higher. A lot. Mainly the FSD. The FSD alone could take it much higher than that. If it goes down and stays down for the next 2 years, I think those days are done. I think that was only between 2022 and 2023, my guy, or 2024, most of 2024. I think now we will have corrections here and there. We will have big red days for sure. But for it to go down continuously or stays down for 2 years while we have Robotaxi coming next year, while we have energy ramping up, while we have new affordable models coming, while EPS is growing, is impossible. I'm just going to say that right there. It does not make sense for the growth to go high, for EPS to go higher, and the stock to go lower. And the fact that we have catalysts coming in as well, and the robot, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's what I'm saying. It's impossible. Italy, my man. How you doing? I like it when it's red. I love it when it's red. I heard 10,000 and Mike can't grasp. I say 3. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, this is with the bot. 100% has to be with the bot. Otherwise, it's not really possible. When Tesla stock hit 1K next year, if they announce the bot, if not 2026 for sure. That's all I'm gonna say. No financial advice. What makes Tesla better? Google with the robot. What makes Tesla better? Google with the robotaxis? You mean Waymo? Even the CEO of Google, which is the owner of Waymo, says that Tesla is the leader. So yeah, what a thing. You think SpaceX will go public? Eventually, yes, I do. You think this will? No, not this year. 2026 most likely, and I think it'll be another 5-for-1. So yeah, you think? I mean, I gotta make a video on the splits on when it'll split and how much. I'll make a whole detailed video about that. It's on the works. It's in the works. You think you split the shares this year? No, they won't. They won't. They won't split the shares this year. Not this year. I mean, or 2025. This year's pretty much done. When you say 10 trillion only for Optimus, is that the beginning of its launch or when it reaches? No, not Optimus. I think Tesla can be valued up to 10 trillion with the robotaxis alone. The Optimus, that can bring it up to 30 trillion, 40 trillion, 50 trillion. It's gonna be madness that we never seen before. Semi-truck is coming out too. Yeah, but the semi-truck is gonna be in low volume, and it's not gonna make much of a dent onto the income statement long term. But yeah, I mean, with the FSD and charging and stuff like that, it does have some impact, but not too much. The early days was Tesla building up an infrastructure of facts. Now they gotta do with the Cybercab because they say that's wireless charging, right? So now they gotta start making those. 200 away from 100,000. Good, dude. You're almost there. You know what to do. You know what to do in the next downturn. Stairs. I mean, yeah, the shares. You mean? Optimus is breaking new ground. Facts. Man, Optimus, the way how that thing walked, it's mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. So we have 5 to 10 minutes left until we start the spaces. It's gonna be really fire. It's gonna be really fun. Make sure you guys grab your popcorn because usually, or if you guys want, you guys can join in as well. If you go to X and I guess go to my account here, Pejjy, and then it's there. It's the first thing, and you guys can request to speak. I'll allow you guys to speak. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. Going over Tesla and stuff like that. I love talking about Tesla. It's freaking amazing. One of the big catalysts is Megapack Factory. Oh yeah, you guys are seeing the news of Shanghai. Megapack Factory Shanghai is pretty much completed, right? You guys are seeing that, right? That's such a sheesh moment. And Q1, mainly Q2, is going to look amazing for energy. Oh my God, it's going to be flipping awesome. You think Tesla will start dividends? Maybe 2040, 2035, maybe. Since bots will take over, we have to invest in them. Well, we have no other choice. China's making it. We have other companies competing for it. And Tesla, there's no way to stop. They have to finish it. Yes, Megapack Factory is 100% complete, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I can't believe that they finished it in 2024. I thought they're going to finish it in like sometime in February of 2025. But they finished it in 2024. Bravo Tesla, man. I'm so proud to be a flippin' Tesla investor. It's crazy. And I can't stop buying the shares. I just can't. Someone told me that it's like, he told me this guy has like 60,000 shares of Tesla. And he's been on the spaces before too. Maybe I'll bring him on the channel too. Incredible story. This guy, he's like, listen, I still continue to buy or dollar cost average into Tesla, even with 60,000 shares. I'm like, so what is the logic behind it? Like, why? He's like, I can't find a better investment. And 2, I prefer to be rich. It's either I get rich or I get super mad rich. So worst case scenario, I just stay rich. And I'm just like, that's a win-win situation. It's crazy. Based on current Tesla stock, what is your bull case for next year? Bull case, I think. Well, my base case is 575, right? And I think that's a realistic price target. But bull case said, I never really sat down and thought and did the bull case yet. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. I mean, maybe this will be a January 2025 video thing. Um, but nah, bull case would be wow. There's actually a lot of elements to it too. I have to sit down and think about this. What the bull case would be. Yeah. In fact, I think my 575 is more closer to my bear case now when I think about it. Oh my god. Yeah, I think we could realistically be over 600 by end of 2025. Um, yeah, I think so. I think because remember, end of 2025, they think about 2026. So anything below 575 is just an absolute steal. Like when, like with my 350 price target, anything below 350 just it's just you better dump your intro. Okay, I should be careful what I say, but anything below 350, man, you know what to do. I just acquired another 100 shares yesterday. I have a total. Oh boy, you bought 100 shares at like the 430s or 420s, 425, 430. Sheesh, my man. Sheesh. That's all I gotta say. 2025 is going to ramp up. The share price takes off sometime 2025. Yeah, I mean, it's already taken off, but yeah, it'll continue 2025. I do expect a correction though, which we will go back to the mid 300s in my opinion. But yeah, what helps you stay patient? Well, it's a long-term investment. That's how it makes me stay patient. And you know, delayed gratification, especially with a stock like Tesla, rewards you so nicely. Look, any all investments require patience, right? Anything good requires patience. Um, no different here with Tesla stock, right? No, it's an investment, so you have to be patient. You have to be going into this thinking that this is money that I'm not gonna touch unless for emergency reasons. But I know I don't need this money for the next 5 to 10 years. That enough right there should be enough to keep you patient. That's it. That's it. Are you only invested into Tesla? 97.7%, yes. 0.3% or something is like in him stock, hims. So yeah. What are your long-term plans on actually taking profits? So I'm not touching it until 2030 unless the stock goes up to 3,000-4,000 bucks per share next year. Then I have to think about selling. But until 2030, I ain't touching the share. Then we can talk about selling 10%, 20%, whatever it is. That's what I'm thinking. Hey, I was wondering, we don't hear anything from Dojo. Do you think it's dead? No, I don't think it's dead. I think it's in the back working. We may hear it in this Q4 earnings. Q4 earnings. So let's see. Isn't Optimus easier to achieve than it is? Surprisingly, it is. Both are new, hard to say. End of 2025. No, I think it is. Didn't just said you wouldn't buy more if it's above. I know, I did. But I also did say that if there's big red days and it's in the 400s, I'm definitely gonna buy. I can't resist. I just can't resist. I can't resist. So I had to buy a couple. All right, looks like we're ready to go do spaces because I'm seeing some messages going on. What's going on here? Shall we start? I want to hear your new number. Oh, okay. 1 second. I know I shouldn't be showing you guys this, but screw it. We're all a family here. We're all gonna do some. We're all gonna do it together. Okay. Where is she? Shall we start? Yes, let's go. All right, we're gonna start. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Microphone and use. Start now. I already clicked start now. Come on now. Oh shoot, that's right. Come here, joined. Oh, there we go. All right. Hello, hello. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Give me a good emoji. All right, perfect, perfect. I see you, Fa. Let me go ahead and get you in. Co-host, there you are. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we're in. We're in. We're in. We're in. All right, Fa, how are ya?
I'm good, thank you. Excited, excited.
Very exciting, very exciting. Me too, me too, me too. How is everybody feeling on this space? We're gonna get another juicy space going on with a lot of interesting things to talk about. Um, let's see.
There I say, there I said, the rally that we have is already blow out my expectation for 2024. I keep saying it like 420.69, that would be happy for me. 500 is over the top, right? 550 is like, oh, you moon and then you ma for sure. So we 420, we went up to 480, and then it pulled back to 440, and then it pulled back to 417, which is I got a feel of it. Amazing. And now it's go up at 440. I'm not complaining. I have not. I've been through that 3 year of pain, so I'm not complaining. It's not. It's better than 250. Come on. And I want to say cheers to everybody who buying in the past 3 years. Just cheers. Just head up, man. Just head up. Just if like my husband, I gonna gossip here. He come to me and he's like, "Oh, we need a bunch of money. In the end of the year, we have to pay our tax and stuff and da 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 da." And then I'm like, "Okay, so what is the option? Do we have to sell stock?" I'm not selling Tesla. What else do you have? Yeah, it's got to be. You have to look at the whole picture. And my whole picture is I'm bearish. I listen to you and Cern talking about number, and my 2032 for 3,000 a share. I'm bearish. I'm feel like what, right?
He's just
I'm
like,
listening to the whole thing,
yeah,
and you look bearish.
yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah. He bashed me. CERN bashed me. He's just like, well, it's funny because his name is CERN Basher. He bashed me, and he's just like, yeah, your energy numbers and your robotaxi numbers is just ridiculous. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry, we have to do it again. And he's like, yeah, sure, revise it, get back to me, and we'll do it again for sure. Because it's like it's hard. Like here's the thing with Tesla and anything exponential. We humans cannot really see it. We see things linearly, right? But Tesla is exponentially, and as many times as they've been exponential with their sectors, with their vehicles and energy now and all that stuff, it's just hard to see that, or hard to believe that by 2035 or 2030, in this case, let's talk about 2035, we're going to have 20, 30, 40, 50 million vehicles, Tesla vehicles that are robotaxis, including Cybercab or without it. And, it's just, you're sitting here thinking that, okay, you're in 2024, 2025 now, and you have no robotaxis, and in 10 years time you're gonna have 50 million robotaxis on the roads all around the world. It's hard to believe that. But then you also think about the iPhone. In 2007, 2008, there was no iPhone, right? And now every year Apple is like building, or I think not just Apple, but like the whole smartphone industry is making 250 million smartphones a year or something like that. And and that's crazy, absolutely insane. So Yeah, no, like you said, Fa, I didn't expect Tesla to go in the 400s in 2024. Like honestly, like it's crazy. It's crazy. My price target was 350, blew past that now, and I hitting all-time highs in 2020 in this year 2024 was absolutely mind-boggling and flabbergasting to be, it's a sheesh moment. It's absolutely a sheesh moment. And it's crazy because this all happened after November, November 5th, the election. Otherwise, we would still probably be in the 200s if, Trump didn't win. It probably would have been, would have been a not a good time for the next 4 years. Would have been probably the worst investment you can make in Tesla. That's crazy. It's crazy what politics can do now to Tesla. And I got to give a shout out to Joe that he said that, look, if Tesla is looking to become the world's most valuable company and they're making things that will disrupt like labor and countries' labor, Tesla has to get into politics. Like, unfortunately, that's the case. They have to get into politics. And when we were discussing this, and I'm just like, oh man, that's true. That's absolutely true because you know you have China, Tesla has China, and then you have Berlin, and you have the States. I don't know where else that Tesla's gonna make other factories and stuff, but if you want to be dominating and have 25% of world labor to Tesla, to one company, you have to get political. You have to be able to go to countries and talk to the politicians and say, hey, you know, this is the case. And I'm just like, that's
And
absolutely
this is what
insane.
Elon doing the whole time.
Yeah.
This is what Elon doing the whole time. Like, dude, when the left, I'm sorry, call it the left, the Democrat, government right now is bashing him. Like, he make tax the rich, he make way too much money. No one should trust him. He go all around the world talking to every world leader. I'm sure they're not talking about what is a Netflix you're watching. I'm sure they're talking about like battery, material, job, and what Tesla could bring to the country. And if we just play dumb, right? Just make it plain dumb. Elon said one of the year, I think 2021 or 2022, he said one day Tesla will be bigger than Apple and what is that?
Aramco.
Aramco. Yeah. So that's 4 trillion, and that's his prediction like 3 years ago. So I believe in Elon. Just make it plain. I've been looking at this guy, his track record. He parked the rocket with a chopstick. Like, who else does that? His car, electric car, faster than Porsche. Who else does that? The car is driving itself. I sit in my car. I just got it fixed. I sit in my car and it's driving me from my house to the hospital. Like, I don't have to touch it. And I'm not even have V13. I have V12.5, 0.4 something or 6. I don't even pay attention anymore. It's almost there. If the car is 100%, if you clean your camera, right? So right now, since we all experience all this in the news, like Elon go talk to the world leader, he accomplished all this, and I sit in my car, go places, and people still gonna doubt the Robotaxi. Come on, are you still gonna doubt it? I think they change their tune so fast right now, Pejjy, in the news, in the mainstream media. I don't know who still listen to it. Now it's just a Robotaxi talking, but no one have a clue how it's gonna go. I think CERN got it right. Tesla can, if they do the Robotaxi themselves, it's gonna be where the target. They're gonna have way too much money. That's why they're gonna sell the Robotaxi. Have people like us that we can do it, right? It's eye opening. Some people, let's say some people, still doubt, is Tesla gonna make 20 million car in 2030? They still doubt that. And CERN already talking 160 million car. You see the gap between the people who believe in Elon, the potential, and people who doubt and still asking the dumb question. You see, and all this make the stock volatile as shit. It's moved so fast, so quick. And then the way to win it is to stay long. Because if you take some news and you act through the news and maybe your news is wrong and then it jump and then you miss it. I love it. That Sun make it Sun is making a beautiful chart. He's so like good with it. He said he make the chart that the green day is about 41 day and the red day and it's you know what I'm talking about, Pejjy?
Yeah.
You can miss you yeah the 41 day the 41 best day is the day that you make all that money.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and
That.
and
Yeah.
if yeah and if you miss that you barely make any money. That's just it. That's why I'm gonna leave it for everybody that's crying about oh it's a pullback. That's all I'm gonna leave it. If you look at that chart, the day that is pullback is the most of the day in the chart is the longest. It's the longest color tab. But the day that you make the most money is 41 day and you make the most money out of it. So you have to stay and buy. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like the 41 days and stuff like that's true. But the 20 million vehicle deliveries by 2030, I don't see that. It's just when I look at the numbers, I'm just like, how are you going to produce over 20 million by 2030 and then deliver by 20? Now, they will do it eventually, maybe 2033, 24, 2034. Um, but um, I just don't see them doing 20 million by 2030. And it wouldn't even matter if they do 20 million or not because you will have robotaxis and you will have FSD and energy and bots that it just the vehicles won't even matter. I mean, even now, people are now slowly understanding um, Tesla. And yeah, the Q4 delivery is coming, and I like to keep my eye on that. But as the quarters go on, and as we see FSD and stuff like that, we just don't you know that becomes less and less exciting, and like the vehicle deliveries become less and less exciting and less um, irrelevant as we keep going forward. Now, of course, they matter still, but as each quarter becomes less and less, in my opinion. So um, that's what I think. And there was another point that I forgot, but if I get back to it, I'll get back to it. Chris, what up, my man?
Hello, hey Pejjy, been watching for a while, so it's nice to be on one of your spaces. But I think a lot of people forget when it comes to Tesla is
Thank
that
you, thank
hardware
you, thank you,
5
thank you. My
should come
pleasure.
end of next year, early 2026. And hardware 5 has 50 times the
Thanks.
inference compute of hardware 4, meaning that we should see some huge, at least an order of magnitude more accurate FSD with FSD 14 and 15. It is inevitable. If you look at the numbers, you see how good FSD 13 is already being. Imagining that on a computer that's 10 times more compute efficient, 10 times more powerful, 50 times more inference compute, better cameras, better car, better sensors, it's inevitable that Tesla will eventually reach full self-driving, considering how good already FSD 13 is. Every single FSD model you've seen improving capabilities. You've seen a lowering in disengagements, a lowering in critical disengagements, and it is just completely inevitable that they will keep going on this path, especially with the new Cortex compute cluster. And that's just the robotaxi business, right? That's a $1 to $2 trillion market cap with their cars and the robotaxi. That's just the robotaxi. If you guys have seen the Optimus team, they are unbelievably cracked. Like I got to visit some of the team, ginormous team. They're Tesla is well at the helm of American robotics. Even just assuming they'll be in like one out of every 12 factories or something like that would add $1 trillion to their GDP. With Grok and Elon trying to achieve AGI on that end too, it is inevitable that Optimus would bring another $5 trillion, $10 trillion to the company within a couple decades. So yeah, there's no issue with Tesla in my opinion. It's almost like a too big to fail statement. They have too many gigafactories. Elon's involved in too many government activities to fail at this point. It is truly inevitable that Tesla will eventually become a $10 trillion company before 2040, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think Tesla can become a $10 trillion company just with robo taxis alone. Forget the bot. I do think that now.
Oh yeah.
AI 5, you did mention that, and I just did a quick search on X, and I found Elon's tweet talking about that, and he said here that hardware 5, which has been renamed to AI 5, in the second half of next year, and he tweeted this on June 20th of 2024. So we're talking about literally like 6 months from now, man, for AI 5 to see. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy. Oh man. It's gotta be such a sheesh moment. Sheesh. Dude, this thing's gonna
Cannot keep up. I want a new car.
well, well, yeah, yours is hardware 3, right? And if you can't do if yeah, Elon said that if they can't do the FSC on hardware 3 vehicles, you can get free upgrade to hardware 4. But easier said than done, I think. But I mean, AI 5, man. I mean, mostly hardware 4, some Dojo. I do wanna know the status of Dojo though, because that's a big one. But yeah, no, 2025, man. Is this gonna be a year that here's the thing. I do expect some pullback in 2025, no doubt about that. But when you forget about the stock and you just look at the fundamentals of Tesla, oh my God, 2025 is going to be such an amazing year on all fronts, right? You'll see vehicle deliveries increase because there's going to be more affordable vehicles, right? You're going to see robotaxis start finally. You're going to see energy start. Energy, like the second factory is already built in Shanghai, which is just insane. So we're going to see a double or a triple in capacity. I just want to know if Shanghai, what their capacity is, if it's actually 40 gigawatts per hour. Because if it's more than that, oh my goodness. Because CERN and I were talking, and CERN was saying he fully expects that Shanghai to have a lot more than 40 gigawatts per hour as capacity. And I'm like, if that's the case, then everything changes. But you have that, and then you also have like FSD take rate, FSD coming into China, eventually to Europe as well. Sometime China for sure in Q1. Not too sure about Europe. Europe has a lot of red tape, but as soon as they breach into Europe, they get into Europe. It's EU, so it's all of Europe. So it's gonna be it's gonna be crazy. The bot, I don't think anything's gonna happen with the bot next year. Maybe they'll have a Optimus Day where they can show the next gen and have some ideas and have some targets. Cybercab pre-orders may be happening sometime like in 11 months time, which is insane. Maybe not, because the vehicles are already unveiled. It's just like make your pre-order. So I think that pre-orders could start actually. I don't know, but if they're actually thinking to volume produce it in 2026, well, they have to have orders to do it. So that's what I'm thinking. They could produce it in 2020 or next year, in the next 11 months or so. That's what I think. And it's just so many other things. Who knows what could be other things coming up? But yeah, 2025 is going to be such an awesome year. Chris, I see your hand up. What's up?
Oh, you said you'd still see my hand up?
Yeah. Or no, or you're good.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
But
okay.
just yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. 2025 is just going to be such an awesome year. You have like interest rates coming down. You have the Trump thing happening. Dude, it's going to be incredible. And I do expect Tesla stock, financial advice, to be in the high. Well, my stock price prediction or my price target for next year is at 575 end of 2025. I think that's a little bearish, but somebody asked me what's my bull case for 2025, and I'm just like that. I haven't made a model for my bull case. I've just done a model on what I think fair value would be, because that's how I usually get them right. So maybe I have to do a bear case of that, but a bull case of that. But now it looks like my 575 is looking more towards my bear case. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Tesla over 600 by end of next year, because again, end of next year they're looking until end of 2026, And 2026 is has a whole lot of things happening in 2026 with semi, with the Optimus, and that's going to be the first full year that I think something good is going to happen. Something big is going to happen with the Optimus. You have Cybercab, I don't know, maybe Robovan, FSD, AI5. I don't know. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a sheesh flipping moment. Sheesh.
Hi, Sander.
Hey, Fa. Hey, Pejjy. And
Xander.
everyone else. Hey, hey. So I got a question that's been on my mind. Everyone's posting the logarithmic chart of the repricing, and I just asked this question to somebody a second ago. Like, it seems like all the bulls aren't looking at a pullback back down to like 300s or 250s area as a possibility, that like the repricing has begun. So I'm wondering, like, what probability do you assign to that being the situation? Because someone's response to me was, oh well, the forward PE is so crazy that this must be the repricing, which kind of infers that we would go to, the 600, 700, 800, wherever the new level is. So how do you think about it? Do you, and whoever wants to answer, how do you guys think about it? I'm trying to crowdsource wisdom.
So what I think is, of course, there's going to be a pullback sometime. It's normal. It's absolutely is normal. And Q4 is the numbers. Now, deliveries we don't really care about because we already know it's going to be a record. It's going to be over 500,000. Doesn't matter. Earnings is what's really is the main thing. And if they crush earnings, then I think we can see the stock go even higher. But this thing that they call the repricing and the reset, or whatever the hell they call this thing. Yes, I do eventually think that's going to happen, but I think that's only going to happen once we see robotaxis and a massive EPS come in, growth come in, like how we saw with Nvidia. And I don't think we can see that in 2025. I do definitely see a growth. I have an estimate of $3.60 of EPS for 2025, but that doesn't justify a repricing, because we're only reaching back to what the EPS was back in 2021. That right? But if something crazy goes on, like they come out and they say that you guys can pre-order the bot now or something like that in 2025, that's gonna just, I think $1,000 per share is possible with that, because it's crazy. Because if you can pre-order a bot in 2025, which I'm giving that a low estimate, I don't think that's even going to happen. But if Tesla comes out and gives us this big bombshell, get ready, get absolutely ready. But I do expect Tesla to go back down, at least in the mid 350s or in the mid 300s, sometime in January or February. I do think something like that would happen. Q1 is usually not a good quarter for Tesla because of deliveries, and it's just for all auto industry, right? Even with the FSC and energy like that, vehicles is just too heavy right now for Tesla's financials, like over 80% at the moment, diminishing over a quarter and over years, but it's still too high. I think it's not going to I think it's going to be a better quarter than the last Q1 for sure, but it's going to be a weaker quarter, as we know. But I do see a pullback. And if something goes on with Trump and Elon again, I mean, again, the reason why we had this big surge up to the 400s, yes, Q3 was amazing. Yes, that helped. But the main thing was Trump. Trump won, and it rallied up to the 400s because here's the thing, Tesla stock it de-risked overnight. It became the least riskiest stock to own overnight, only because of Elon and Trump. Now, if that relationship if that deteriorates, well, so will the stock price, right? And that could bring the stock back down to the low 300s, potentially in the 200s and stuff. Now, the probability of that, I think, is very low. I think they want to make America great again, and they have to work with each other. And I think egos will be put aside, hopefully. So That's how I view it. I don't know if that answered your question, Xander, but that's how I view it.
Yeah, that helps.
So okay, this is my take. Thank you. I think the pullback is if you hold stock long enough, you know the volatile is the name of the game here. Do I see 250 again? No. Do I see 350 again? Maybe. Do I see 400 again? That's a possibility. And I think the relationship between Trump and Elon is that they cannot. It's almost like yin and the yang. You know, they most cannot be in that place without another one. Like Elon put a lot of work into make Trump win, and Trump is put a lot of work to show the world that Elon is his friend. Like go to the rocket launch and talk highly about Elon. So I think in the next 4 years, I see it's better for us for Tesla. And with all the milestone that with all the thing that we accomplished, and legacy media, the fad is really died down. You know, the people not really look at the mainstream media anymore. And Elon went to help Trump got elected. Like he actually go to Pennsylvania and go to places, and people now who never liked Tesla before is look into Tesla, and people who not buying cars, they're buying stock. And like what is that guy? Simon, the financial guy that go
Yeah,
on.
Simon Hale. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Simon said that right now the big money, the big wealth, that they don't start having position in Tesla, they will starting it. And I think they're just starting it. I don't think anyone doing it yet. So we in the beginning of it, beginning of the rise. But yes, it will be correction. I see it because I'm a Uber bull. I'm a bull. I see the up. I see the up more than the down. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, Xander, you're also an Uber bull, or no, you're a cyber bull, which is like even more than an Uber bull. So you should, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously calling and hoping for that repricing moment, but since I'm a greedy capitalist, I don't want to. I'm not satisfied to just be in stock, and I want to maximize it. So um, I'm waiting. Like it's very hard to sit there and do nothing, especially for me. So I'm a I guess I'm waiting for that moment where it's indisputable that we are repricing. So like I waited until 420 to really like convert all of my shares into leaps. But then I don't know how far we go. Well, and I mean in the trading portfolio, not in the long term portfolio. That one I don't mess with. But I take it, I sell all of the stock and and start buying leaps. But I'm also out of leaps now, mostly because we pulled back so hard, and I'm in stock. And so I just move between stock and leaps, and I was doing cash before, but I realized I'm not really worried about this narrative of a recession. But now that the yields are changing, I start thinking about kind of that maximizing of the opportunity. Okay, my cats are going insane. Maximizing the opportunity and being, having cash to buy the dip, but without missing the run. And so I'm just kind of mulling all of this over. I sold my leaps on this last run up to 470, So I'm glad I'm in shares and not really watching. I have a little bit of 400 strikes out to 2020 January of 2026. Something I'm willing to lose, which arguably is 10 to 20% of your, even if it's your trading portfolio. But at some point, I'm gonna be in YOLO mode, and YOLO mode will be to take the whole entire portfolio and ride it up. But again, that's like for insane people definitely not financial advice. I think it's extremely reckless to think this way. But at some point, just like we saw once we broke 300, there really wasn't any resistance from that 300 strike to all time high. And then once we broke that, that's when you really got to start pulling back. But anyway, that's kind of how I think about it. I'd love feedback or criticisms of
Yeah.
my uber bullishness.
My question, I have another question, Xander, because you do all these call option stuff and you see what's going on. I'm seeing on X, I saw on Yoshu's post, shout out to him, and some other people's posts as well, showing strike price on call options at $930 or something a year out or something. And I'm just like, holy moly. Yeah, are people actually betting that the stock's gonna be close to $1,000 per share by like 12 months time? Like it's
It's not
crazy.
even 12 months. It's out to May. It's not. It's 5 months. It's such a short time frame. I think all of those things are directional plays, where like I just did this on Friday, except with a lot less money, and like I bought some 440 strikes, and held them for 10 minutes when we were at the 430 mark, and it was like, or less than that. I think we were at 428 or 427, and so they were like 20 cents, and I bought 10 contracts. So what is that? $200. It's not even a lot of money, but I sold them at 30 something cents. 10 minutes later, because I saw that the technicals were showing flow of buying it up into the close. So I, I do that with a tiny amount of money, while a big fund will do the same exact thing with millions of dollars. So I don't pay too much attention to it, except that it's good to have that information, to if you can get it in real time and tag along, because clearly someone's moving the options chain, or expecting the price to go up however they know. But it's a dangerous game, right? Because sometimes they're wrong. We only see it and are happy when it proves to be true, but we ignore all of the times that they're wrong. So I watch that, and I never copy those trades unless my own trading, in my internal brain algorithm says, okay, yeah, now's a good time to be a little gambly, because we have flow.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I'm like, that's just this fundamental doesn't make any sense. But that's just crazy. Thanks for that, Xander. Uzi, you have your hand up. What's going on, my man?
Hey, Pejjy. Nice to meet you. So I think within the next year, the catalysts will be mostly political. I think the inauguration, outside of deliveries and earnings like this next month, but the inauguration will be a run up. I mean, I'm not really a short term trader, but I'm quite confident no matter what divide between Trump and Musk that the media is portraying. I don't buy that they're divided. I think they have a lot of alignment for the vast majority of it, so I'm not really concerned about that. I do somewhat share the intuition that the first two quarters might not be as maybe like breakout or exuberant as we've just seen, and that's all right. Like I think some consolidation is healthy over here for a little bit. And Xander, I'm not looking at technicals, so yeah, I'm not trading like that, but I do think by the end of the year with Robotaxi in Austin, that's the real signal there, and maybe at that point you hit 500 or way past that. I just think that's the most important thing is getting Robotaxi rolled out. Everything else is just politics, and I mean maybe if they beat on earnings. And one thing I want to clarify, and maybe you guys are aware, is like for FSD revenues, are they recognizing that as part of auto gross margins? Because is that why the last earnings was such a smash? Because if that is true, then maybe that continues to help with earnings. But I still think if it's a hockey curve, we're still on, I guess, what would be the blade of the hockey stick, and we haven't shot up exactly yet. And I believe once Robotaxi starts rolling out by the end of the year, you know, V13 looks like a smash hit. That's when you'll start seeing that pivot upward as drivers' attention becomes less and less important.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yes, the average selling price, the FSD revenue and stuff is already included in the average selling price, which is hard to predict. But eventually they will separate it in the income statement. We just gotta, the number has to become too big for it to, for them not to do it. But yeah, at the moment, the FSD revenue and profits, I think, as well. Revenue for sure is in the average selling price. Xander, you got
Is
your
that
hand.
does that include monthly subscriptions? Do you know
Which subscriptions?
the monthly subscriptions for FSD?
Yes, everything, everything. It's the one-time fee and the subscription. Anything to do with FSD revenue, the way how they clarified it, it's in the average selling price until they separate it. Which is interesting because once they do separate it, you'll see the average selling price go even lower. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Xander, you have your hand up?
Yeah. I was
Yes.
gonna comment on the 20 million target for the vehicles deliveries that Fa mentioned. I think that like we are ignoring that was the target a long time ago before they went all in on Robotaxi. So I think your response, Pejjy, was good in that they the world changed with COVID and their targets changed. So while they may get there eventually, will the world be the same where you're even buying cars, or is like you responded, is everyone just using robo taxis that is in big cities? But what if it goes wider than big cities by that point? And you really don't need more than one family car, and everything else is done with robo taxis where you don't own the vehicle for for the car seats and all of that, but just the commuting is done via robo taxis. So
Yeah, I agree. That's the future. Like, car, this robo taxi thing is eliminating essentially car ownership, um, which is with all the cost, you know, how low it's going to cost to travel places. Oh man, it's just not worth buying, having a vehicle. Imagine you can go anywhere you want with the fraction of the cost of what you're paying your vehicle right now, and without the headache, right? No insurance, no monthly finance payment, leasing payment, uh, no electric cost or gas cost or maintenance cost, or you don't have to worry about your car getting scratched or someone hitting it, and then insurance and all that, BS. You just, you know, call it on the phone, call it on the app on your phone, and then you just sit in and go and you pay 20 cents per mile once this thing is everywhere. Oh man.
Yes and no. This is it. This is how I see it. Yes and no. In America, in Canada, in Japan, there will be robotaxi. But in outside suburb far away in Japan, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in South Africa, in a lot of places, people are still gonna want to own car. So there will be market for people who still want to own car because the Robotaxi not working there yet. And I agree. In the place that I live, like Bay Area, if we move to subscription model, like okay, my house probably pay $500 a month, and then I can have any car. This weekend I'm gonna go to town hall. Let's have a cyber truck. This week it's only me bring the dog to the dog park. Okay, we're gonna have the 25,000 car, the small car. And this week my husband family come visit. We're gonna have robo van. You pay the month, and then you just schedule the car to come as you want it. That I see that. I'm one day it will be like that. We will not have to clean the car. It will come when we want it. We schedule it, and then when we done with it, it will go working. I see. But in the far away of the world, that the system not there yet, they're still gonna want to sell the car that obviously have full self-driving capable, so they can make robotaxi in that spot too. So that's how I see it. And one point before I hand the microphone to Chris and another person. One point, Sander, I am selling my portfolio in Thailand always, and I hold it since I'm 29. I sell it at 39, and I YOLO or in Tesla stock. And I know that you sell your house and YOLO or in. I'm selling my condo and my land in Thailand right now. So me out of everybody wish for the 250 again.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm the cheerleader to make it to 550. I'm a cheerleader for that. But I'm selling my condo right now. It's in downtown, in middle of the heart of Chiang Mai, Thailand. If anyone want to buy it, and I'm selling the land that's stay right in front of the mountain. See the mountain view. I don't care. I don't want to clean a bathroom anymore. I don't want to pay the land tax anymore. I just want to put money in Tesla, and this is my strong suit. I won't touch it. I won't touch it. I'm very good at sit on my hand and do nothing. And I encourage everybody to try. I used to post it on my ex. 210. I come to America. I barely understand English, and I went to New York, and I accidentally got into this group. They're sitting, and I sitting next to them, and they're like, "What? I don't know what happened." They merged a table together, and they are financial people. They work in the stock market. A lot of them are older, and they talk about wealth. They say the way to look at your wealth is like a soap. If you touch it, it gets smaller. But if you leave it there, it's there. You know?
Yeah. Before
The money that we don't use is the wealth that it can grow. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, before Chris and or Lucian start, I do want to say one thing because you mentioned condo. You signed a condo for this. Well, my dumbass earlier this year put a down payment on a freaking pre-construction until 2029, and I'm just like, what the heck did I just do? And you know,
Ouch.
and this is
Ouch.
here's the thing. This is Toronto, right? And and well, thankfully, I thought it was 2031. Then they told me it's 2029. I'm like, okay, we're 2 years ahead. But that was a big mistake because it's a 1-bedroom condo, and the price was $620,000 Canadian. And I put it. I think you put a 5% or no, you put a 10% down payment or something. But then that's so stupid of me because it's like I'm giving these guys interest-free loan to build the damn thing. And I'm just like, man, this money could have been in Tesla. Because this was a time where the stock was at 250 and I was debating and I'm just like, whatever, it can't always be on this thing. But that was a mistake. I should have kept it at Tesla. The money could have easily more than doubled. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, this money is stuck. I can't take it out because if I take it out, they can sue me. So I have to ride it out all the way until 2029 until I can find a buyer. And when it's built, then I can sell it for whatever capital gain I'm going to get. And that's going to be taxed as well. So yeah, I just want to say that on my end. That was
Can you transfer Can you transfer to another stocker? I mean, another investor?
no, you can't. It's literally like, um, what was the paper? It said that you can't. You can only do that when occupancy is ready and when you find a buyer. So even if you want to, get out now, you kind of can't. And I'm just like, well, that sucks. And this is not my first time. I did pre-construction. This is my second time doing it. But then at that time, and it works out. But now Canada, Toronto has become so woke that becoming a landlord sucks. So that's why I no longer want to be a landlord anymore in Canada. So this was a big mistake. So that's why as soon as this thing is is ready to be sold, hopefully there won't be any delays. I'm selling that thing, man. Yeah, but yeah, Chris, Lucien, um, let's get Lucien first because you haven't spoken yet.
Hey guys, you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things I heard you talk about. I agree. I just wanted to start off with the whole 20 million car deal, and I think there's still gonna be like a lot of people, even when robotaxis are happening. There's still gonna be a lot of use cases for people to own cars. Not everyone's the same, and there's a lot of need for like certain things that I think people are still going to want to buy cars. Still a lot of people, but not nearly as many. We're definitely going to see the amount of cars made decrease over years as robotaxis take over more and more. But that's going to take a while still because, like, even in Canada, there's a lot of remote locations where they're not going to have a lot of robotaxis around in general. So that's going to take a while. And, if you watched James Dama's recent video with Farsad, like he kind of breaks down the idea of how many you're actually going to need in a city to kind of fulfill the needs for everybody without over demand and too many cars waiting around clogging up streets. So they'll figure it out because it's going to take a minute too, right? Like these things aren't just going to pop up like Tim Hortons over here. It's going to take a minute. So I think the ramp will take a little longer than people kind of anticipate with the amount of people that are replacing their cars with robotaxi rides. That's going to take a little bit, but yeah, it will happen for sure. And then on another couple notes there earlier, you were talking about the battery factory and its capacity. I think I was watching a video recently. I just can't remember which one it was, but they mentioned that there's 4 lines total in the Lathrop factory, but only 3 of them are actually at full capacity, and the 4th one is kind of an R&R, like research and development line. So I think the new factory in China is actually I think Tesla's sandbagging it a little bit because we know it's a little bit bigger already, and they're going to take what they've learned from the first factory and utilize their capital even more efficiently. So maybe initially it's going to be 40, but I think we're going to see that number grow closer to like 50 or 60 gigawatt hours of power with those factories. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. And there's a couple of other things that you guys mentioned, but I just can't remember. But yeah, I'll cue in again whenever you guys have a second.
Sounds Gucci. How about you, Chris? What's up?
Hey, Pejjy. Hopefully my mic's okay because I dropped my phone and my chicken Alfredo. So hopefully
No, you're
my
good. You're
mic's
good.
still
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. And, everyone's really focused on the robotaxi. And I see that. I don't know if you're familiar, Pejjy, with like what AGI is and like what they do at XAI and Grok and everything like that. But they do share compute resources between Tesla and XAI. And on the XAI side, Elon's already planned to scale up to 1 million GPUs, which would just be an insane amount of physical capital, first of all. But second of all, if Elon if we do reach AGI or some sort of artificial intelligence that was able to handle any natural language task behind a computer, let's say for Grok, and then they were to combine that with Tesla with their physical AI, like in my eyes, I just would not see how you wouldn't get the $25 trillion market cap after like 2 decades of that. Because I mean, eventually you're not talking about Optimus just like doing like nominal tasks around the house. Like the goal of Optimus is to eventually probably replace most dangerous or tedious labor around the world. And if you look at Tesla's biggest competitor, you look at Figure, you look at Unitree Robotics, you look at Boston Dynamics. I would probably put Optimus at number one. If I had to probably be more moderate, I'd probably say they're right behind Boston Dynamics capability. But Boston Dynamics has no scalability. They don't have any gigafactories. They don't have any. They don't have 50,000 engineers at their helm. They don't have like hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in development capabilities. So, in my opinion, seeing Tesla at the top of the mass robotics game in the United States, seeing the improvements with Grok and with Tesla, with Dojo, Hardware 5, and everything like that, because Optimus will probably eventually have the new Dojo computer or the new Hardware 5 inside of it. So putting all those things together, it seems inevitable that Tesla probably will win the robotics race in the United States. And if they do, and it's put in like all factors around the world, I see that being much more valuable than the robotaxi business. And that's just one part of Tesla's business plan right there, and they're already number one in it. I would say Tesla's number one in full self-driving. I would say they're number one in rear world AI. I would say they're number one in robotics. They just have too many catalysts, for it not to be probably the biggest company in the world by the end of the 2030s, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yo, after Chris talking like this, and do you see 250 again?
It's funny you say that because I bought in at 230 a month before the election, and I had a couple hundred shares. And then when Trump got elected, the stock was going parabolic. It like crossed 305, and I sold everything at 305 because I was like, oh my god, it rallied way too hard, way too quickly. It's definitely gonna dip back down, and it never dipped. It never went back down. It went all the way to 400, 430. I missed out on another 100% gains in a month, and I'm really upset. I'd love to see it come back down to 250. But the PE ratio is extremely high for Tesla. It's extremely high for any company. Like being over 100 PE ratio is kind of insane. But I can see Tesla dipping down to like the 350s again. But with the new cheaper car announcement coming up, with any sort of advancements in robotaxi coming up, 250 is going to be a bit difficult to see. But I can see 350 probably easily.
Yeah. It's man, I can't, dude. Oh my god. Dude, that reminds me of you selling at 305. It's like that meme or that gif of that guy going on his knees, going like, no.
Yeah, I was really upset. Yeah,
Dude.
I fucked up. I didn't diamond hand it,
So,
bro.
Chris, this line of thinking is very, very common. I mean, I sold at 300 as well, but once I realized that I'm wrong, you just you don't focus buying. For me, this I guess this is financial advice, but I don't think about it binary. In I have to be right. I just think about like, okay, I missed out on $30 of gains, but I still believe that there's further upside here. I'm wrong, just buy it. And so I had to do the same thing back in 2020 during COVID when Tesla uh, sold off. Obviously it wasn't their fault. So I think like that same thing can happen, which is unpredictable, right? If we have a major recession and everyone's selling the stock, you can see, some crazy number, but that's what it takes to get to these, volume shelves of people capitulating and selling off because they think they can get it back lower.
Yeah,
So
I
it's purely
100% agree.
technical, but yeah, I kind of learned multiple times with money that I'm unwilling to lose to just sell the rip and then be ready to buy the dip. But if I'm wrong and it continues to rip, I just get right back in. And so practicing that over and over and over again with my trading portfolio has really helped me to just stop viewing it so I sold, that means I can't get back in. Just
Yeah,
especially shares, right? Shares is one of those things where you can wait out any black swan while if we are truly repricing, you'll miss it, and the only way that you can get it back is by being patient for a crisis event in the markets.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And every day, every catalyst, I was really waiting on Grok 3 to come out because that was really going to give me a good indication of how Tesla's AI abilities were, or if they would do any sharing of any software.
Shout out to
And I
Yasha
really
with
wanted to
Flip
see
and
Grok
Go.
3 before I made that investment, but I mean, it's all looking pretty good. It looks less and less that they'll ever go back down to the 200s. And yeah, I think it's a stupid way. I think what you said, put in money that you're willing to lose, and if it rips,
That's how it should be.
you did good. If it goes down, then you get a dollar cost average back in. But yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people have fucked up selling Tesla. Excuse my language. Have messed up selling Tesla once and then just ripping past that. But I learned my lesson.
Yeah, nobody expected the stock to go that ballistic in this year with Trump effect. Nobody thought. I didn't think that we're going to hit new all time highs this year, which was absolutely just insane. So
Yeah.
I feel you. I mean, yeah, let's see what happens for the last 2 trading days. But yeah, it's crazy. Skylar, you had your hand up for some time. What do you got
Yeah.
to say?
So first off, I have to second Chris said here because I think while robotaxis, have a lot of potential, I think that the bigger long-term play here is AI and robotics, because the way I look at it is, it's similar to NVIDIA when you look back in, say, 2018, 2019, 2020, when the stock was, at all-time highs because of crypto, and crypto was starting to fall off a little bit, and people weren't sure if that was going to continue to, keep the rise up for NVIDIA. NVIDIA on the side was also investing in AI and building out the software stack, and getting involved with the research institutions to ensure they had a place, they kind of held their place there. And I think that on the AI side for Tesla and X and their operations that Elon is involved with, they have the training data, right? That's crucial from all the Teslas that are on the road, and they have the hardware, and they're building the software stack. And it's not just about Optimus. I think it's about all the other things that you can do with it. Because if you have the training data that says here's how you should move and how you should operate and how you should control the components of the mechanical components that you're able to operate to move, right? That can be pushed into um, other robotics that are not necessarily on the road or even necessarily that look like an Optimus. They could be things like very specific hardware functions like manufacturing. It could be building houses. It could be cleaning your house. All kinds of the things that don't look humanoid that can use that kind of training data and their software stack they're building right now. And that's undervalued, I think, right now. So I think that's the long term. When I see it going to 5x from here, that's how it gets there. I think the robotaxi side is awesome. I have a Tesla. I have self-driving outfit. I'm visiting the family right now in northern Idaho, and out here there's actually quite a few Teslas. But I talk to people out here, and it doesn't make sense for people to live too far out in the rural areas. But I think that because they're going to continue to buy cars, they can put a boat on, and then they can put their four wheelers on or whatever it is. So I think that we'll continue to see like this split between people that live in the cities. I live in Seattle normally, so they live in the cities and want to have a robotaxi option. People that want to have their own car. So I think that will be a split. I think there'll be some new revenue there, some new potential. But the long term play and how we get to 5-10x from here, I think is all about AI, 100%. If I would also say, in the shorter term, so I also bought a bunch of Tesla last summer, and then I rebought in October when Elon started pushing for Trump, and glad I did, obviously. And I'm still holding that. But I've sold off a lot of other positions. I had a bunch of NVIDIA and other AI related. I look in AI, so I'm pretty familiar with the space. And I have a bunch of stock in that space. And I'll just throw this out there. This is a black swan event that I think is going more fairly, I wouldn't say probable, let's say the likelihood is high enough that I'm pulling out of the market on some of those stocks for the next month. And that's because I think there's I mentioned this on another podcast, another group as well, but I think there's a reasonable possibility that China might take an action on Taiwan between now and then. And I don't mean like World War III, I don't mean a full invasion, but I mean something more like some kind of blockade or cutting off all resources and material access to Chinese resources for Taiwan. And the reason I think that's the case is because Trump's coming into office, and before he does, it's still Biden. And so if they do something now and Biden doesn't have time to react to it necessarily, then Trump can come in and say, hey, I'll fix it, don't worry. And then China can just give it back to Trump afterwards in negotiation. They don't have to take it in a way or do something that's going to be a long-term play, but it gives them something in their hand to negotiate with, and there's almost no loss. So if they do something minor, like a minor blockade or cut off all access to resources, it's going to hit the stocks like TSMC, and Nvidia really, really hard. So I'm pulling out of those until Trump takes office. I don't think they'll do it after that. Between now and then, I think there's a probability that's reasonable enough that you should account for it. I actually bought a bunch of puts for January 24th for this reason. So just throwing it out there.
Okay. Thanks for that. So I do agree with you that the future, the valuation of Tesla in the future is definitely AGI, bots and stuff like that, 100%. But I do think that Tesla can 5x alone just from robotaxis, 100%. The reason why I went all in Tesla back in, it was 2020, when I sat down and I did the numbers, and I'm just like, oh my God, like if they can have this many vehicles on the road, that's like robotaxis. And when I sit with CERN and then he comes out saying stuff like by 2035, he's expecting 50 million if based on projection that if we're going to have 160 Tesla vehicles on the road, 100 million of them are operational, he expects half of them that's going to be robotaxis, which is 50 million, which is my brain can't fathom that. I can't, 50 million. But then when you slap on the FSD monthly subscription, because I think it's going to be just monthly subscription in the future. I don't think there's going to be a one-time fee anymore. And they profit pretty much 80% on that on a monthly basis. And then you also take the 30% cut that robotaxis generate through the operators, that they take 20 cents per mile, let's say 50 million. Yeah, when you have 50 million robotaxis everywhere, I mean, 20 cents, 30 cents should be, the cost per mile. It becomes a very big number. It becomes in the 50, 60, 80 billion dollars in revenue. And then if margins are 60%, then, that's crazy. Now, of course, bots is just much more than that. But then with robotaxis, once you fully solve this thing and you have robotaxis everywhere, it unlocks 3 different businesses for Tesla. Of course, the robotaxis. Second one is the take rate for FSD. People who have the car and now all of a sudden they want to opt in for it, for the monthly subscription. Then the last one, you have FSD licensing, which is much bigger than robotaxis. It's insane. I mean, I don't know how the licensing would work, but I would assume that it's the same way of how Tesla takes a cut from robotaxis, like 20%, 30%, but the number is just too big. We don't know what the value is going to be on, but it's a big number. So you have this 3 triple whammy coming in once this robotaxi and FSD is solved and good to go. And that's why I think Tesla stock can be worth easily 10 trillion with this just FSD alone. And with the bot coming, it can go 3, 4, 5 times that. I mean, the bot is just insane.
Do you think that the robotaxis, though, so the 100 million number, right? That's not for the U.S. alone, clearly, right? That'd be way too many cars on the road, new cars on the road to account for only 370 million people. And while the U.S. I don't think is going to allow Chinese competition, a lot of other countries are. And that 100 million was put out there before we had seen what China's been putting out there on the roads. And I think there's going to be a lot more competition in countries outside of the U.S. for EVs, for self-driving, and I think that 100 million I think the ramp up to that 100 million is going to be delayed as a result of the competition coming out of China right now. for EVs.
Oh no, I'm talking about the 100 million is accumulative, right? So by 2035, like this is like if Tesla is going to have the when Tesla increases their volume production for their Cybercab, and Elon is talking about 2 to 4 million in production, just this one vehicle alone. And then you got the affordable vehicles, and then the Model 3, Model Y, and then the other ones. And this also includes semi and the other vehicles as well for Tesla. Eventually, Tesla will have over 100 million Teslas all around the world, just driving around, robots on wheels, that with a snap of a finger, they can all become robotaxis if their country allows them to. Right now, that's the if part. We know China's going to allow it, or they're going to get approval in China in Q1 of 2025. Europe, I'm not too sure. I think there's still more red tape there. But once they breach it, I mean, it's EU. It's going to be many countries at once. But that's how I view it, right? Now, and then you also mentioned about Taiwan and stuff like that. Now, I don't think China is already going through a lot of bad economics right now. In China, they can't afford to do anything very stupid that can put sanctions on China, because if they do anything to Taiwan, the US has to because it has to have his back, because you have TSMC, which is like the chip heart of the world, and its supply. If that stops, good luck to your Apple phones, good luck to your computers. We're not going to have any of those things. Your washing machine, laundry, everything. You're not going to have any of those things. So the US has to respond one way or the other. And I don't think it matters whether it's Biden or Trump. It's just a bipartisan thing in the US that, no, we cannot let anything happen. As long as this TSMC is there that's making our chips, we cannot allow China to do anything to it. Now, if that number comes down from 90%, 80% to like 10%, I don't think they would care. It'd be more of a geopolitical thing. But this is more of a trade thing. And let me
clarify this real quick, because I'm not saying. So I agree with you 100%. Right? It's too crucial for operations. Like, we're not going to have any computer chips. We're not going to have new computers. We're not going to have video chips if we can't access TSMC, right? I 100% agree with that. The U.S. has to respond. Question is, how we respond to what event? And is the event that China would do something that's going to be, where we have to respond full on militarily, or if they do something kind of in a more minor way that threatens that, but then with the expectation, again, I'm not saying they're going to try to start World War III. I'm saying they're trying to do something that gives them the playing card. So when Trump comes into office 20-something days later after they do it, or after it occurs, they can say, okay, well, no problem. Here, Trump, before we even start negotiating, we're going to give this back to you. Don't worry about it. You can go out there and say you saved it, that Biden lost it, you got it back right away. That's part of the negotiation. But we also want to make sure the tariffs that you're going to put on us, you're trying to impose, are less than they would have been otherwise. So it's like taking something that they can take in a limited fashion now and then immediately give it back, in a short term. I don't think they're going to try to hold it in the short term. I think it's going to be part of the negotiation. My guess is that Trump's going to do something like, okay, we're going to step away and let you do what you want with Taiwan in 5 years or sometime years out, because it's time to get TSMC moved over, onshore more or less. But in the meantime, I think if I was China, I would take an action on it. Again, not in a way that's going to start World War III, but something that's going to, cause waves, so that they can then use that in negotiation with Trump when he takes office. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but I don't know. When I think about it in all ways, it's like if China does anything that would like block trade or do anything that can disrupt or have them as like a bargaining chip against tariffs, it just shoots them in the foot long term, because it's like, okay, if you are planning to do something like that, and if Apple and Microsoft and all these big techs can't get the chips that we need, I mean, that's gonna go, okay, we'll resolve it. Let's say they do it, they resolve it, but then they will, if China's goal is really to unify Taiwan back into China, this is the worst thing that they can do, because now it's like, okay, this is what they can do. They can block. They can't invade because they just can't do it, or they just, are too, it's too risky for them. But they can do this. Okay, so then now we got to make a plan so they can't do this, or limit it as much as possible. You know what that means? More deals, more arms deals for Taiwan. Now Taiwan must have a navy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I just don't see it. But I see your point. I do see your point.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
China's been upfront for years now. They're going to take it back. That's not something new. They've been very very upfront. They make it every single one of the talks. Xi Jinping's mentioned it over and over and over again. Even Elon's talked about it and said that they're going to. They say that they're when they say it, they mean it. He said that pretty straightforward. I think that if it came down to it, if they wanted to take it and put all their resources into it, there's nothing we could do about it. It's too close to their border. It's too easy for them to defend compared to us. I'm not saying they're going to do that right now. I'm simply saying that if we think we're going to be able to hold it long term or in some manner, that's not realistic. Realistic is we try to make it have a gradual move out of where we can pull out the resources we need, get TSMC moved over onshored, and then hand it over in a more civilized fashion. And I think that's part of this negotiation I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. If you you want to hear a crazy prediction, I think China will China will invade Russia rather than Taiwan. And I do believe that because I know it may sound silly or whatever, but China and Russia they don't like each other. And yeah, they're doing it because of what's happening in Ukraine and all these other things. But I think and China has land disputes with Russia, and it's on their border. And China has done a lot of military activities on the Russia-China border, but Russia can't really do anything because they need the Chinese to help them with the war in Ukraine. And I think China smells blood, and he's just like, you know what? Russia has all these resources that we desperately need. Taiwan. Okay, Taiwan is like, it's for if we can get it, it's the breaking the first island chain or whatever, and chips. But then what's the point if we go to Taiwan, they're gonna burn down all the chips and stuff like that. So we can't even do that. What's more important is I need oil within my own country. I need fresh water within my own country. And Russia has all that, and they have land that I want back. It's a crazy prediction. I know it's really crazy, but I don't know. I think I don't know. It just makes sense to me that they will invade or take at least Russia by surprise. And they're both nuclear power, so it's not like they're both going to start throwing nukes at each other. So I don't know. It's a good chat. I like this, Tyler. I like these type of chats. This is good stuff.
I mean, so China doesn't have a lot of allies right now, and I think that the roles have swapped considerably. So Russia it's no longer the USSR with the small little brother of China. It's now the other way around, and Russia knows it. Right? Russia's playing the game that China's telling them to play, more or less. I don't think, and China doesn't have a lot of strong allies. I think that they need or want Russia. I'm not saying that in the long term that couldn't happen, but I think that they want Russia because Russia, one, is an ally that has a lot of the military resources they can pull from, but also has that reach to go over top of the northern end of Europe and help with their what's it called, the bridge and road construction. So I don't think that Russia's going to go into Russia anytime soon. And there's a lot of other resources a lot of the countries available around that they can pull from. I think that honestly, here's a part of that crazy prediction thing. When I look at Ukraine, I thought this from the very beginning. The reason, in my opinion, that makes the most sense to me why Russia invaded Ukraine is for the Donbass. Because the Donbass, as we know, right, is the breadbasket of Europe. What is the one thing that China doesn't have internally that they have to import the most of? And it's food, right? They don't have enough arable land. If they can take Donbass via Russia, then any kind of long-term conflict that arises and they can hold that region, that means they have a long-term food supply. So I think that they need Russia, at least in the near and medium term. I think that they need a strong ally, and Russia is the closest they have. So I don't think they're going to invade Russia anytime soon.
Yeah. Sheesh. No, I like this conversation. It's not you getting geopolitical and stuff like that. But if China does anything to Taiwan, get ready for the market. It's going to be a very red day. And if that happens and Tesla goes below like 350, 300, I'm going to freaking buy as much as I can. I'm going to dump my whole entire savings again into it. That's my plan if that happens.
Yeah, I put 20K in. I put 20K into puts for TSMC on January 24th. I mean, I could be wrong, but if I'm right, it's going to be a big payout. So,
sheesh. Well, let's see what happens. Uzu, you had your hand up for some time. What's going on?
Well, yeah, the conversation has moved a lot. But in terms of what you were talking about with geopolitics, I'm might as well touch upon it. I mean, I think the thesis that the Biden admin is like is confused usually is correct. I'd say though, if you look at Ukraine, this administration is more than fine arming a satellite of the West, and the example is Ukraine. So and as Pejjy sort of got to is that China is aware of what's happening with Russia, and he has this perspective that seeing that Russia is maybe not overwhelmed but has its hands full, that if China were to engage in such a battle for Taiwan, they they're aware of what the consequences would be under this administration. So I mean, I do think this administration is more willing to go to war than the next one. I think the next one is much more willing to maybe engage in a rhetorical battle and freak people out, but not actually go to war. And there's sort of a history of that sort of, I guess, brinksmanship. So yeah, I'm personally not focused on that. I don't think that's the vast majority. It's like there's a high probability of that happening. But if it does, I think Pejji is right that there will be a sell off. But then, I mean, I think overall, Taiwan seems to be prepared for whatever situation may come with SMC. I don't know if we want to go to robotaxis because that's what my point was on, and then trading. But yeah, I'm good to keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Earlier in this call, me and Fa and I, or just space, we just talked about how uh, Elon has to get very political as well. I mean, those who joined recently, Joe and I, we did a podcast recently, and he made a very good point that I do want to share again. Is that he said that if Tesla is going after the bots and the spaces, or Elon is going after like trying to make bots in Tesla and space, and making rockets and Neuralink and all these big companies that can really change everything. Let's just stick to Tesla here. If or when Tesla wants to scale it to multiple millions, and how Elon talks about there's going to be more bots than humans, to essentially producing hundreds of millions of bots, and they have factories everywhere, and Tesla wants to take 20% of global labor of the GDP, world GDP. Well, you have to get political. And as Fab was mentioning earlier in the space, you can already see Elon getting political everywhere, to the point that we're calling Elon during Biden, well, for the past couple of years, that Elon is the unofficial president of the United States, because he's meeting every world leader, whether it's Argentina, Italy, Germany, UK, flipping, I don't know, the Middle East countries, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia. Like, it's crazy. I think Elon has met Elon has met more world leaders than Biden has. It's crazy. So, um, yeah, those who want Elon to be away from politics, someone like me, unfortunately, that's not a realistic thing, because you have to get into these things if you're planning to do what Tesla is planning to do. And especially when it's Elon and he has multiple companies that includes a lot of government regulation, let's say SpaceX, right? And then Tesla with them being international. Yeah, you have to be political. There's really no way around it. Otherwise, you're not gonna
He have
get
to
it.
be in the good side.
Yes.
He have to be in the good side, and he been right for longer than 70 years that humanity is, we have to be pro-human. So that is gonna get him to a lot of country, and of course X. Yeah. Um I I will be a listener now because my kids just wake up. I love this. I love the space today. This is awesome. I have one question that I'm gonna ask you guys. If you guys can turn back time to 104 last year, what you do?
Buy more Tesla.
Wait, last year?
Yeah, last year, right? 104. This year is
Oh,
138, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Obviously, sell everything I had and just, dump it into Tesla and not get that stupid freaking condo. 100%.
So that's the same thing I would say. Even though it's 440 right now, it's go up not to 3,000, 4,000 anyway. So don't worry. Be happy.
Yeah,
I did want to, for your point about Elon getting political, I do think within, and with Optimus in mind, I do think within the next 10 years, you're seeing, I guess, a roadmap today with all the controversy about the visas, and I think that divide might be uh, more, I guess, common when humanoids are, I guess, taking jobs, and I do think Optimus, there's a fair chance it becomes politicized, and there's the MAGA right and the tech bro right, and I think that divide will be, become, I guess, greater when you have Optimus. And you see people right now are very upset that there's visas for skilled labor from across the world, and people want to build American or educate the American workforce. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to think that those people that are against visas are also going to be against Optimus if humans are not performing the labor.
Yeah, 100% with that. I completely second that. I've been thinking about that all week as I'm watching this. I'm thinking, if we're seeing this with H-1Bs, right, and keep in mind, all Americans are immigrants to some degree, right? Our ancestors came here at some point. The idea that this is the reaction from that, how are they going to respond when we have robots going to take all the jobs, or AI, right? And we're going to see, the white collar jobs go with AI in the next several years, and then manufacturing is somewhere down the road, but not that far out. We're seeing the early signs of the incredible kind of backlash we're going to see. And I work in the space. I'm not anti AI whatsoever. I'm just saying that we're going to see some very interesting times in the near future.
Yeah, that's insane. But I do believe that the bot will actually create more opportunities than disadvantages when it comes to jobs, because you all remember the internet, right? Like back in 2000, stuff like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, the internet's gonna come, it's gonna take our jobs, and it's gonna do this." But the internet came and gave us so much. I mean, it's actually more jobs than we can ever think of. I mean, who knew that you could stay at home, make videos, and that could be a living, or you can now tweet, and that's a living. And then you can do a drop shipping business, and oh my god, websites, and the list keeps going on. I think with the bot, I think. It's going to be something similar. I think we're going to see more opportunities to make abundance and more opportunities to make money than how it is. Like if you ever wanted to open up a bakery shop or something, well, with bots now you can, because you can just program the thing and they can make the bakeries, whatever it is, and you have your own business. And imagine that throughout the whole thing. But this is talking about like so far in the future where they can do anything and everything. This will take time. So yeah, I think the opportunities that the bot can create is gonna be mind blowing. I know it's hard to see it now because it's gonna come and take my job, and sure, if it's a dangerous job that like window cleaning from things, sure, or maybe like construction or whatever it is, sure, yeah, okay, those things will be replaced. They're dangerous jobs. But I think over time we'll realize that no, this bot, we can do so much with this bot. We can create a lot of wealth with this bot. If like how Elon says, if money means anything at that time, and if things don't go the way that I think it's going to go, well, I do think that there's going to be something like universal basic income or something like that we can rely on, or not rely on, but just something that needs to happen, because there's no jobs. But again, I'm more leaning towards that there's going to be a lot more jobs, a lot more opportunities than we think. And we will only know that once it happens, just like how we didn't know that the internet's going to be the way it is today. Like it's crazy to me that the internet, that you can make a living doing YouTube, you can make a living doing job shipping if you do it correctly. If you're making a website, selling your products, never having a store, like it's crazy how much money you can make on the internet. It's crazy. And I think the bot is in the same path, in the same singular path. And you have a tool now. You have the internet, and then you have the bot, and then you have all these other tools that you can, make money. And all these big corporations, they're going to use bots, right? So majority of their employees are going to be bots, and you can start that thing that you always wanted to start that business you always wanted to start. I don't know. That's just my thinking. What do you guys think?
Well, I agree. Long term, I think this is like the point at which we're all replaced by bots or whatever it is, in terms of, I guess, the traditional labor force. I absolutely agree. I mean, I think uh, like ownership of capital will mean much more than labor. Obviously, if we don't have jobs, so if you go to like the first cause of that, you buy the person that produces the bots, so you buy Tesla. So yeah, I mean, having a long term position in Tesla is kind of, I mean, I think it's unimaginable if you didn't, even though it ran up so much. As for like a UBI world, I don't know. Um, I mean, I'm like super young, by the way. So like when you're talking about the internet and not knowing what life was like before that, I don't know. But in terms of creating new industries, I think that's absolutely going to happen. It's like an event horizon. You can't see beyond it. Um, but it doesn't mean that it won't be we won't be better off. We might be better off. We might be worse off. It's progress isn't necessarily good. I do think, I guess, concentrated special interests, like in my head, it's like coal miners. They have a job that might cause like lung cancer, but they still want to have their job, and so they group up together and they, I don't know, protest whatever change it is. And I think, interestingly enough, coal might be coming back. That's irrelevant, but there will be special groups of people, not special, but special interest groups that band up, that particularly are against humanoids. And I think that will be an impediment to progress. I don't necessarily think that having humanoids as the labor force will be good or bad. It's really how you play your cards, I think, going into that.
Yeah, to push back a little bit there, Uzi, I think you misspoke slightly in that I don't think the coal miners care to have their job. What they care is to have a job and to be paid, and that goes for dock workers and for everyone. What people care about is making a living, and ultimately, if you reach an age of abundance, it's not like linear, and it doesn't happen overnight. There's going to be a disruption that occurs in different industries. To Pejjy's point, you'll have people that will move to a different industry because their industry is dying, and they see that that writing on the wall. As an example, you could see what happened in 2008, where real estate mortgage people realize that now is probably a bad time to be entering this market, and so the student rate drops off, and so I think like that evolution will happen, and it won't be so uh, binary, and everyone hates robots. I think you're going to have robots that are going to go and replace factory workers, and companies will just hire less factory workers. But obviously, these unions of people are going to resist, as we see with the dock workers trying to slow capitalism. But ultimately, I think capitalism will thrive. Crony capitalism will, always continue unless people like Elon and Vivek can actually do something to stop this or slow down this corruption of people just stealing from the taxpayers, because that's what's happening. Is we're being robbed blind, and no one has spoken up for us in how many decades?
Yeah, I would say though that that's a little. I'm going to back to agree with Uzi a little bit on this one. I think that there are a certain faction of people who do see themselves as connected to a certain livelihood, whether because that's where their family's from, or their community, or or whatever it is, or if they're middle aged and they grew up in that one industry and learned that one trade skill very very well, and were good at it and saw their value, what they did on a daily basis coming out of that. People want purpose, and jobs often provide purpose for them. So if you take away my mining job, where I could brag about how badass I was as a miner, and put me on the line, flipping burgers or something, I might, even if you paid the same amount of money, if I go home at the end of the day and all I did is flip burgers all day long, and I can't brag about how badass my mining job was, I'm going to lose something of the purpose. And I'm going to blame, even if I'm paid the same amount of money, I'm going to blame the system for that. So I think it's too simple to assume that everyone's logical and just wants the same kind of capital, uh, uh, outputs. I think that there's a degree of the humanhood of like, what is my purpose? What am I doing? What am I connected to? What's my community, etc. That will be part of that pushback. And I'm an optimist on this. I'm very much pro AI and everything else, but I do think there's going to be a reasonable pushback.
Yeah, there will be a groups like that, but at the end of the day, I think because because there'll be more tools, and finally, I guess the tool that you can use to really find what your purpose is, right? And that's with the bot. That's why that's part of my thinking why I think that it's going to be in you know a world where you can pretty much do anything you want, which is crazy. And it's gonna be
This is how I see it. It's gonna be something new because none of us see it before, right? It's like before we in a horse and buggy, and now we in a car, and now we have computer, and now it's gonna be something totally new. It's gonna be a robot. Instead of computer in our hand, we using it like an iPhone. Now it's gonna be another thing that have a hand and a foot too, right? And that thing will go make GDP. What important is the GDP? So if the whole earth right now I'm making this shit up, 5,000 trillion, right? Just from human, the whole earth will make 10x because of the robot does the GDP for us, right? And now the question is, with the new platform, with the AI, with the robot, how do we divide that GDP and people don't go sleep on the middle of San Francisco on the street, right? So that is where the big question is. If the robot 4x or 5x or 10x the money of the whole earth, the whole GDP, how to make sure that people, human, not go suffering. The winner gonna take it. Winner number one, winner number two, winner number three. That's the whole thing that you and me, my brain is too smart to imagine that. But how do we make sure that all the winner take money, and all the people who not a winner, they don't want to call them loser, also have the access to have enough of food, enough of safety, and enough of healthcare, right? So no one have to rob anyone, right? So that's the whole platform, the whole thing that I don't know. I'm not that smart enough to figure that out. But I like what Sanders said. If Elon and Vivek, Doge stand up for us and tell the government like, hey guys, shut the fuck up for one bit. That's too much. Let's reorganize this and make it more efficient and put money back in our pocket, like no income tax, right? Because we not go to war anymore. What is war? It's the thing in the past. No one doing that anymore. Imagine if we don't get income tax. Only my house, only the house that I live in will be prosper, right? So I think that's where it could be. That's where we could go in with Trump. right? And I'm sorry, I like Skylar, is that the name of you? Like you talk geopolitics, the China fighting Taiwan. That's out of my room. But I think the whole new moving forward, the whole earth there will be less war. There will be. I think so. If Trump go in the presidency and say, let's not do war anymore. Let's move our energy, move our money to develop our country, make a new city, make a new job, make it prosper. I think the whole world will go that way too. Especially China. They like money, dude. They like money. That's what I say.
I hope you're right. I mean, and I'm not trying to say that can be a long-term war. Honestly, I think China's they play the long game. I think they are smart. I think they are capable, and I think that the best case scenario, and actually this is one is I'm excited about Trump's. I hope that he's going to look at this as an opportunity for a long-term partnership negotiation, where China gets some of what they want that we've been holding back on, or we're trying to hold them from accessing, and then in return, we try to expand. We don't have to stop them from growing or stop them from becoming more powerful. For us to also become more powerful. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and I think that some things that he's been saying recently, actually about Greenland and Canada becoming 51st state and Panama Canal. I wouldn't. It would not surprise me if what Trump would like to do, if he's capable of doing so in this next administration, is to expand the U.S.'s borders dramatically. Whether it be into South America and north possibly too, but and it doesn't have to be necessarily through war. It could be some kind of partnership negotiation, some kind of long-term trajectory where these various countries have the opportunity to become additional states, and get statehood and eventually become citizens, etc. There's ways to grow our economy and grow our potential and resource, for our country to access that doesn't involve war necessarily. So I hope you're right about that.
Sheesh. Good stuff. Good talks. Good flippin' talks. Our time is up. Actually, went over our time of 90 minutes. Sheesh. This was a really good space. This is awesome. I love it. There's a lot of good conversations, and this is nice. Every Saturday we have this at so many timings. We go through so many timings. I think 2 p.m. Eastern time. We do this every Saturday, Fa and I. So join us next Saturday. We'll have another weekly spaces, and we can talk, and we'll see what delivery numbers would be. And that's coming out in 4 days. In 5 days. 5 days. Yeah, on Thursday. It's Thursday, the January 2nd. Yeah. So let's see what that's going to be. Whatever it is, it's going to be a record. Whether it's 515 or 501, whatever it is, I think it's going to be upwards of 510,000. I'll have the official, my estimates officially numbers in 2 days. But it's going to be a sheesh moment, and yeah, it's going to be fun. And we shall see you guys next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, Xander.
And the stock price is gonna hit the same number of deliveries.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking. Could you imagine? like let's say they do 515,000 vehicle deliveries in the stock, which is 515. That's gonna be crazy. Sheesh. Anyways, I know we had one humanity patriot. I know you've been requesting, but we will do it. I'll make you a priority for next week because time is up now. All right. So I'll make a note of that. All right, guys. Have an awesome weekend, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the day. See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Thanks, Pejjy. Thanks, Fa. Thanks, Xander.
Let's go. Sheesh. All right. Back to you two. Man, see again, 2 hours. These spaces, it's flipping interesting. I love it. Like, man, this was probably the best space that I've done. This was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay. Sheesh. It's like what? Almost midnight where I am. I gotta go to sleep. And I use a lot of questions here. I'm gonna make separate videos for those, so don't worry about it. Every Saturday we do this, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And a lot of interesting conversations, geopolitical, politics, Tesla, stock price, all that kind of stuff. It's a sheesh moment. So I love you guys. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Love y'all. See ya. Let's go.